Hello dear students, I am Manikant Singh. I have been teaching history since the last 25 years. Here I have to come to share something with you about the subject history, because it has been one of the most mistreated subject, but still most popular subject. You will be quite surprised to know that right from the time of Satyendranath Tagore and Subhash Chandra Bose till your period, history has always maintained its, you can say, higher domain in UPSC examination. What is the specialty of this subject? Actually, I am teaching history, so normally you can say I am having the fascination for the subject and the larger appreciation for the subject. So you may be a bit, you can say, surprised if I am just going to speak something against history. You will just expect me to favor the subject. But I will try to be neutral as much as possible. And although I am having the constraint, I cannot compare this subject with any other subject, because this subject is having its own specialty. First of all, as a student, you have to, you can say, make a judgment of different optional, evaluate different optional which is going to suit you too much. So interest definitely going to decide your choice. Interest area, I am always, when students are coming and just asking from me what subject I should opt for, I generally used to reply the subject in which you are having the natural interest. But this term natural is quite relative term. Sometimes you are having the interest, that's why you like some subject. And sometimes you read the subject, then you develop the interest. And both are applicable. In case of history, I cannot give you the complete guarantee, but at least I can give you the assurance that the method I myself has developed, that will definitely interest you. Because history is normally treated as the bundle of informations. But I have never taken history as the bundle of informations. You will be surprised to know that I have just collected less number of informations in the subject, even less than you find in other parts of general studies like political science, like economics, like science tech, etc. Because for me, the history as a social science is complete analysis. This, you can say, this issue is not here to be discussed. This issue I will discuss in a next one speech. Here my point is, why should you opt history as your optional? So I have to share this question, and I have to prepare yourself for this question, why should you opt for history as your optional? There are several factors in your favor. The first one factor I have told you, this is an evergreen subject. Evergreen subject means right from the time of Satyendranath Tagore till today, this subject has maintained its dominance. Second one, actually history is such a subject about whom you are not having the background knowledge. Sorry, you are not supposed to have the background knowledge. And now question arises, what do I mean by background knowledge? In certain optionals, whose name I cannot quote, you are definitely need to have the background knowledge, otherwise you will not do justice to the subject. In history, this is not the case. Here you are free. Whether you are coming from science background, humanity background, even technical background, means you can say you are an engineer, doctor, etc. From the commerce side, you will be surprised to know that I have made large number of students qualify through history, and these students were coming from, many students were coming from, many, or you can say majority of students were coming from the technical background. They were automobile engineers, that you can say electrical engineers, civil engineers, and they qualified through history. How was it possible? Because you need not, you can say, having the background knowledge, jahan se jago wahan se savera mano. Once you have started, and then you are going to follow the specific method, definitely you will develop the mastery over the subject. First thing. Second thing, this subject is quite a scoring subject. If some, you can say, people are just creating some sort of misperception about the subject, there is a less scoring, absolutely wrong. You can go through, recently there was the publication of the results of the main examination, and as the result has been published, so So you will try to find out the successful students in the market. Still you will find a large number of students from history background. How is it possible if the subject is not scoring? Not simply that. The subject, any subject can be scoring, and history particularly. But you are supposed to fulfill the requirement of the exam. Now UPSC has been completely changed. More and more questions are going to be inferential in nature. Earlier the size of the question was 600 words. Now it had reduced to 200 words, 150 words. And if you have to develop the mastery over the subject, then you are supposed to have the knowledge of something of everything and everything of something. So subject is quite scoring. Third one, you can say, factor which is going in favor of history. In this subject, in fact, you are having the added advantage from the point of view of general studies. Because you will just observe the question paper of GS in UPSC presently doing main examination, the total GS marks is 1000. And there are the 4 papers. In first paper, a major area is being covered by history. That is, possibly the marks are verging on 100 to 110. In the first 1 year in 2013, the contribution of history even reached up to 140 marks, but later it has been just reduced and almost stabilized to 100 and 110 marks. And you will be surprised to know that in the first part, or you can say in the history part, 100 and 110 marks in mains, and normally you can imagine 32 to 34 marks in prelims from the history side. In overall UPSC you will find 134 marks or 132 marks. This is the direct contribution of history. But one thing you should know, the direct contribution of history is one thing, but the indirect contribution is even larger than the direct contribution. What is the indirect contribution? So I think history is the mother of all humanities subject. Do you know that the proper knowledge of history will make an addition to your knowledge even in economics, even in polity, even in international relation, India and the world, etc. I can give you the concrete example. For example, you are going through modern history. So after crossing the modern history, what is the post-independence era? So post-independence era became a major part of the general studies, you can say today, because in history part there is the term that has been exclusively used by the formulator of the syllabus. The syllabus of contemporary history, modern history will cover from the syllabus of modern history will start from the mid of 18th century and it has to come up to the present age. So present age is quite misleading, but you can imagine that they are going to ask you the question up to 1970 or maximum 1970s. You can very well know in post-independence era, this was the formative age in the history of India. So it is during the post-independence era that there was the development of Nehruvian model of economy. There was the formulation of the basics of Indian foreign policy, the framing of Indian constitution. So if you have to gain the knowledge in polity, you have to start from there. If you have to gain the knowledge in India and the world, you can start from Nehruvian era. And even you are supposed to cross the era of Lal Bahadur Shastri, that of Mrs. Gandhi, then your knowledge of India and the world would be fulfilled. Likewise, just make another movement to other side. If you are going through Indian constitution, so the story will start from the framing of Indian constitution, possibly from the Indian Constitutional Bill of 1935 onwards, then the Constituent Assembly of India, because normally you are going through the Indian constitution. So you are going from topic to topic. This is the president, prime minister, you can say preamble, fundamental rights and directive principles. But you will just start to observe the things. What was the background behind the framing of Indian constitution? What was the environment and political climate at that time? The constitution took this shape. Then how did debates start in Constituent Assembly and how many controversial issues? After even the framing of constitution, the initial governments means the government of Jawaharlal Nehru, the government of Mrs. Gandhi, they had to face what sorts of situation and how did so many amendments carry on gradually from prime minister to prime minister. What was the situation? So if you are going to observe the development of constitution or rather evolution of constitution for the 3 decades, So that will definitely give you the added advantage in polity. No other subject can give. And what textbook of international relation? Here I am having the pride to say you that without the knowledge of world history, the knowledge of international relation can never be complete. Without going through world history, one cannot develop the mastery on international relation. I am recalling it 2 years back. A very important American diplomat, you might have heard the name. His name is Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger composed a text, possibly you can say in 2013. The name of the text, 2015. So the name of the text is World Order. And in this text you find that 90% area has been covered by world history and only 10% area international relation. So that will complete your knowledge of international relation. So lastly I can say, among the optionals, whenever there is the question of selection of optional in UPSC, history will always be in limelight due to its direct impact and indirect impact on general studies. Whatever in optional paper, definitely it is the one of the most liked optional due to its nature, being the marks fetching subject, being the very easy subject, because simply you are having the knowledge of change and the knowledge of historiography. In most of the optionals you will find in the first paper, normally the first paper forms the part of the thinkers and thought, and that is definitely going to be a big challenge for the students. In history, you will not exclusive, you have to make a study of thinkers and thought. Simply from ancient to modern, you have to underline the forces of changes. So my students, in the next one lecture, I will exclusively focus the area ki how have you to prepare history, what should be the specific approach to the analysis of history, and what should be your method of preparation. Thank you very much.